D&D was fun. Arkham was good. You need to finish that campaign.
Yeah, it's on my list.
Just like my kiss.
Yep, that's on my lips.
All right, well, that worked out about as well as I could have hoped.
Mythos Busters, investigating the mystery, monsters, and madness of Arkham Horror, the card game.
Hello, and welcome to episode 66 of Mythos Busters. I'm Sean. Joining me tonight are my brothers in arms. First, let's go with Scott. Hey, Scott.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. Long time no talk.
Actually, I was thinking about this the other day. I know you were on the Gen Con episode, but it feels like you and I have not really podcasted about Arkham together in a very long time. So I'm glad you're here.
Yeah,
tonight.
I mean, I was present on the Gen Con episode, but let's be honest. I spoke more about my wife's experiences than mine, because my wife went and I didn't. But
We probably should have had her on, actually, in retrospect.
That
yeah,
would have been a good idea.
We talked about it. She was busy for the evening. I forget, there was a reason she couldn't. But anyways, I'm good.
Excellent. Joining us tonight as well is Nick. Hey, Nick.
Hello.
Are you rested up from our game weekend?
I am.
That was quick.
Yeah, well, it doesn't take me long.
I went to bed at like 9 o'clock last night, and it was glorious.
My wife and I watched the first few episodes of Glow Season 3. Which I love that show. And then after that, after we finished with that, she went to bed because she had to work at 4 a.m. And I just laid in bed watching Cheers until 1:30, and then finally went back to sleep.
Cheers.
Excellent.
Did you have a hot toddy too? Like, you a baby boomer?
With slippers on in your house
In your
jacket?
easy chair?
And joining us as well tonight, I think you may have heard it's a very special guest, Nick's keyboard. Welcome.
Really? Come on! All I did was type what time the episode started. Like, fuck off, guys.
Sorry, I know you're sensitive about it. I can't help but poke a little bit. Yeah, there it is. Okay.
Friend of the show.
All right, so we've got a very special episode for you guys tonight. We're going to go through our normal opening segments. We've got a fun article and a new investigator reveal to talk about. And then for our main topic, we're going to talk about the greater good and Union and Disillusion as scenarios. So let's hop in. So guys, checking in with you. What Arkham have ye played since last we spoke?
Nick, would you like to go first?
Sure. The Arkham that I have played... Sorry, I'm moving my mic around because I'm watching my levels. The Arkham that I have played has been one standalone game of the Forgotten Village, which is the third scenario in the Winter Winds campaign that I started but haven't finished. We played that this last weekend. I have not played any other Arkham other than that since Gen Con, but I am hoping to actually both finish The Circle Undone soon and also start Return to Carcosa. So,
worthy goals. I've finished Circle Undone twice, and I'm about to start Return to Carcosa. It's kind of sad that they kind of came out / ended it right around the same time, because I don't know about you guys, but I feel like in the last half of the releases for a campaign is when I really generally kick it into gear, because now I can actually finish all these campaigns out.
Yep.
Hasn't worked out quite so well this year because the summer's just been crazy, but.
And lined up with Gen Con too.
And lined up with Gen Con. So much content. And it's not like it was even like the cycle ended and the next deluxe dropped where it's like, okay, 2 new scenarios, that's fine, I can get through 2. It's like full campaign ready and waiting for you.
Yeah.
So it's a thing. But then as far as like specific games I've played, that one we played at your place, Nick, was good. I played my Diana deck for that one, right?
Yeah, you played Diana. I played my Finn deck that I plan to use for Iron Man. And then we also had... who else was... Carolyn, and I forget...
Norman.
Norman, yes, that's right, yeah.
That standalone Norman deck. I am so very fond of that standalone Norman deck. and Kip, who's been on the show before, our friend, got Diana Esperance and level 5 Ward of Protection out like within the first 2 turns.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he was just like, yeah, I'd rather not though. No, I'm fine. Just like for the rest of the game, it was glorious.
Was it like MC Hammer, like can't touch this?
Exactly right. And then, yeah, like I said, I've finished TCU twice. I did it once with my solo Diana, and then with Justin, who's was on the show last episode. We finished out. Non-spoiler review. Really like this campaign. It has a couple little spots where it could be different, but I think overall it's been a lot of fun. So really, really, really enjoying it. And then as I was talking about it, that was our preamble. So yeah, that actually won't have been in the episode yet. But I've got a Lola deck that I am so excited to try out against Return to Carcosa. I expect it. It's weird, and I expect it to be completely mediocre, and I'll be thrilled if it is. Scott, how about you?
Well, I've so we were talking before the show about how I like to design decks and like get halfway through designing them and then just drop them because I have another idea or it doesn't work or whatever. But the one deck that I've been tinkering with and playing with is, okay, hold on to your hats. Solo Preston on Expert. And I've been running it through Dunwich.
Oh, okay.
And the whole idea of this is I don't take tests.
Sure.
Like you do an expert.
Yeah. So, but Preston has all this money, right? So I get flashlights for the low shroud stuff, Gravedigger shovel to get whatever, fine clothes because you might have to take a parlay test or two in Dunwich. You just have to. Leo DeLuca just to get more actions. Drawing thin, where I just like any treachery, I'm like, I'm just gonna lose this, so I might as well make money off of it. And then all of the what do you call them? Favor cards?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like decoy, intel report. Yeah, right. And it just those things. Think on your feet, sleight of hand for flashlights and stuff. I have a fire axe in there because you're just going to have to kill something at some point and just throw money at it. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. And it's done okay. My weakness that I actually drew was the tower, which...
Oof. Well, I suppose for Preston isn't that bad.
No, you can't commit cards to skill tests. I don't care. I'm not taking skill tests. So there's that part of it. And also Preston can just play that.
That's true.
So it's been really fun. Take heart in there, right? Like drawing thin, throw in a take heart. I'm making just like, okay, I'll take 3 horror on Leo and myself or something. And yeah, I'll make like draw 3 cards and gain 2 resources. Okay. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I think, you know what, Sean? I will challenge you.
Oh boy.
I will do a return to Carcosa on Expert with my Preston, and we'll compare notes compared to your Lola deck. You can play on Standard.
It's also a 2-handed campaign, so I don't know if it's entirely analogous.
Oh,
it's not a Sola. It's not a Sola deck.
I'll tell you what, Scott. I will redo my Min's temporary plan.
Okay.
And play Return to Carcosa on Standard. Min
right.
without any assets.
Sounds good. I like this little challenge.
Trying to think of one.
And Ian can play skids.
Like no Tomes Daisy would be unfortunate, but doable. Like there's.
I think playing Lola is a big enough handicap. So
fair point.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so that's what I've been tinkering and playing around with.
Cool. So catching everyone up on what we've been up to. Unfortunately, not as much. The past couple weeks have been kind of crazy for everyone. But we did just wrap the latest episode of Look What I Found, so check that out on our YouTube or Twitch. We did the preview card from the Return to Path of Carcosa. It was the Blessing of Isis? Is that?
Yes.
Okay.
Sounds right.
It's literally been 10 minutes since we talked about it.
Yeah.
So go check that out. Guys, anything else? Scott, do you have a league going on still? I haven't seen anything pop up in our feed for a while.
I actually had to drop out of the league because of time. I honestly just ran out of time. I do think I want to finish that campaign, though, because it was just really fun.
Sure.
And just not league it, but...
You should just stream it.
Oh, yeah, I will. The league, by the way, is coming to a close, and signups for the League of Extraordinary Investigators Carcosa edition they're coming up soon, and I'll make sure it's broadcasted or like posted somewhere on the Discord. But it was a lot of fun. Honestly, it was just time with doing our show and then Tuesday Night Arkham and just everything
musical
else.
Episode.
It just everything that wasn't Mythos Busters kind of got pushed to the side, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that will happen. Cool. Mm-hmm. All right, so before we move into our patron business, we have our next Orbits contest to announce. So for the final Orbits contest, we wanted to do something a little weird. We're going to ask a little bit of you guys, and you have to do nothing other than listen to Mythos Busters. Yay. So, thanks, Nick. So here's what we want. We want you to find an old episode and send us a quote or two that one of us said. The better it is to be read out of context, the more likely it is you'll win. So I have to think that we have said we've made some ridiculous sentences over the course of this podcast, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
I think we have this episode already.
Yeah. So help us find the gems. If you're already listening to older episodes, great. If you want to go just pick a random episode, great. However you get it, send us your quote along with who spoke it, and if you possibly can, the episode and timestamp, rough timestamp, to our Gmail. That's mythosbusterspod@gmail.com. So next episode, we will read the quotes that we get, hopefully have a couple laughs, and pick our favorites to win the last set of Orbits tokens.
We should totally have it where one of us knows the answers, but the other three have to guess which host said it.
I think that's very doable. I think that's very doable. Yes, okay, so, God, I'm so excited. Please, anyone who has even the smallest inkling to do this could be a lot of fun. Don't make me beg. Suppose I already did, though. Cat's out.
You kind of did, yeah.
All right. Anyway, so email those to us, and we'll round them up next time. Moving on from there, we've got some patron business. So first, as always, thanks to our board. I'm going to read you guys in reverse order this week. So thanks to Robert, Chad, Nathan, Abilio, Dave, Philip, Kyle, Ian, Alexander, Cyclos, U Chris, H Chris, and B Chris. Thank you all for your support. It continues to give us license to do crazy things like a musical episode or a custom scenario or any number of the weird things we have coming up for Arkham Knights and beyond. So thank you as always. One thing I wanted to point out for our patrons that we haven't pointed out, I think, in a while. So don't forget, we have a patron-only channel in our Discord. So if you're already in our Discord, just message one of us and we can give you the rights to that if you're a patron. Or, if Discord kind of felt maybe a little bit intimidating, we've got, like 2,000 users in our channel, which is just so many more than I ever thought we'd get. This is just kind of a nice little quiet. I think there's probably about 20 people that have access to it at the moment. And, it's a nice little gateway to the greater world of Discord. So come join us there. All right, so we have a couple of new additions to the team. So first, I'd like to introduce Ian Jude. He's going to be filling the position of lead kukri sharpener. So
someone has to do it.
I hope he's saved up his actions.
He can only sharpen one per turn. Unless Leo DeLuca is helping him.
Yes. Unless it's payday. No, wait. Works the opposite way. Okay, anyway. Also, we'd like to welcome to the team Patrick Wayne. He'll be filling the position of the Director of Snow Removal in the City of the Elder Things office. After the last one went missing, it took us a while to fill the slot, but we think Patrick's going to do a bang-up job.
And winter is coming, so
Winter is
we didn't need to fill that. Sorry.
I apologize too.
Here's your honorary Canadian card for the night.
That was magical.
I don't think it works if I boo you first. I think I owe you an apology at that point. So
Fair.
All right.
Canadian card revoked.
And the last thing I wanted to mention on the Patreon side is for anyone who might have been a recent addition to the podcast or anyone else who hasn't heard us mention it in like 2 episodes, we have a musical episode which is available to our patrons. We're very proud of it. I was taking a couple drives this weekend, and at one point I was just like, you know what, it's been long enough. I want to flick this on and see if it actually holds up, or if I was just like in the fugue of having actually completed a big project. So it seemed better than it was, but it holds up. Very proud of how that turned out. Anyway, our patrons get early access to that, so go check it out if you haven't already. Scott,
Yes.
what news have we?
Nothing really important. FFG just announced one of the investigators from the Dream Eaters, Mandy. That's who. Mandy Thompson is going to be the seeker investigator in the Dream Eaters. Nick, since you weren't able to join us for Look What I Found, would you like to read Mandy?
sure. Mandy Thompson is the seeker investigator, like you said. Her subtitle is the researcher. Her stat line is 3 will, 5 intellect, 1 combat, 3 agility. She has the assistant and scholar traits, and her game text reads, Reaction. When an investigator at your location would search their deck or the encounter deck, they may either search 3 additional cards or resolve 1 additional target of the search, limit once per round. Elder Sign effect, +0, search the top 3 cards of your deck for a card and either draw it or commit it to the test, if able. Shuffle your deck. And she has 6 health and 8 will.
Oh boy.
I think this is really cool.
Yeah. This is... I mean, Eureka turns into draw 2 cards.
Yeah.
Or
Or search 6.
Or, Well, resolve 1 additional target. Would it be searching 6, or would it be search 3 and then search 3?
It would be search 3 and find 2 instead of 1.
Or what if you do the additional target one?
And it's
That's what the additional target is. Like you can either with Eureka
Oh,
you
I
search 3
see.
draw
Yep.
1.
Never mind. I was thinking like target, like if you played Cryptic Research, then resolve additional target would be like choose another player.
No, it's for searching, like search the top 9, find this.
How-
Like Mr. Rook would draw 2.
Yep. And and one more weakness too? No, I don't think so. But how about level 5 no stone unturned? Fast 2 cost, go grab 2 cards from your deck.
Yep.
Yeah, that's great.
Or someone else does it.
One of the best or most interesting combos I saw on our Discord, people chatting about it, is calling in favors. So if you pick up an ally that costs 2, is calling in favors search top 9? I think it's top 9, right?
Yes.
Correct.
Search the top 9, you can put 2 allies into play. They each cost 2 less. So have charisma, first of all.
Yeah.
But that turned that, like, if you're going to do like an academic army, like, that's pretty strong.
Yeah. Getting 2 art students out for 1 action, that'd be insane. Both free. Clue. Oh, yeah, that's awesome.
And also, let's just talk about that stat line, because,
Oh, it's great. I love it.
Oh, yeah.
like, we've all seen what someone can do with a Daisy-like stat line, whether it be Daisy, whether it be Norman. Like, Mandy's kind of inverse Norman a little bit, similar to... But anyway, you can do a lot with 5 intellect. She's going to get played.
And I just always love when I see a 1 in one of the stats, because it just feels like less wasted stats to me.
Yeah, it's just like, now I just don't have to worry about it. It's just going to happen.
Mm-hmm. And fighting in a Seeker, I mean, you're never going to use your combat anyways.
Right.
There's so many other ways to use it, right? Like, that is totally the dumb stat of Seekers. Oh.
And at three agility, she might actually try to evade things from time to time. Like, she could actually do it. Yeah. Yeah. She good.
So should we talk about her deck building?
Yeah.
Should we talk about her signatures?
Should we do that first?
Yeah.
Okay. Sean, do you want to read Occult Evidence?
Sure. So Occult Evidence is her signature event. It's 0 cost. Has 1 wild icon. It has insight and research traits. Mandy Thompson deck only. Shuffle Occult Evidence into your deck. Reaction: when you search your deck and Occult Evidence is among the searched cards, reveal it, draw it, and discover 1 clue at your location. Max 1 research ability per search. So does that mean... Does she have research? No.
Occult Evidence has research.
Okay. So it doesn't go into
It's stopping you... Okay, so her deck building is... She gets... How many of these in her deck? How many Occult Evidences? Depending on...
It's more than 1.
It says... She has 3 copies of her signature
It's dependent on size, it says.
Okay, so if you had more than 1 and you played No Stone Unturned level 5, you could find all of these and trigger all of them, but it's max 1. So that's why that max research ability is there. So you can't just like draw them all, suck up all the clues. But the cool thing about this though is this doesn't count as the card you're searching for. Like this is a reaction that you trigger on Occult Evidence. You get this card, you discover a clue, and then you still find whatever you're looking for.
And then as a free event, I mean, it's still an action, but you just shuffle it back into your deck. So then you can search it and trigger it again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Too bad that wasn't fast, although...
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Oh, God, if it were fast, then it would need a resource cost.
Yeah. So Casey's saying in the article... This is a long article. Somewhere says basically... So you can have her deck be 30, 40, or 50 cards when you build it, and she gets 1, 2, or 3 copies of Occult Evidence, respectively.
Okay. Interesting.
Somewhere there.
Last thing I want to point out about Occult Evidence is that the art from it, I don't know if it's just heavily inspired by or if it's a straight paint over of her original Arkham Horror art. But, yeah, it is. And her
original from what would that be? Second edition?
Second edition board game.
It looks really familiar.
Yeah, except in the board game, for whatever reason, she had a really plunging neckline and was rocking some pretty hefty cleavage.
Looks like it's just inspired by, because once I saw it, I recognized this art.
I don't know.
That's just that's a photo. Never mind. That's a photo.
Yeah.
Here it is.
There you go.
Everyone just wait while I find
it. Yeah, it's just... I don't mention the cleavage because it actually mattered to me in any way. It was just a difference that I noticed. But I do remember that she was the very first character I ever played in Arkham Horror. So that, whatever was the first game you and I played, Nick, years ago, Mandy was who I played.
Pretty sure I don't remember now. But yeah, so it looks like it's inspired by, but not the same.
Okay. It's better. It's way better art, so I'm down.
Yes.
So her weakness, Shocking Discovery, is a treachery. It's a weakness. It's a blunder. It's a mystery. Revelation, shuffle Shocking Discovery back into your deck. If you cannot, discard it and draw the top card of the encounter deck instead. Forced, when you search your deck and this card is among the search cards, discard it. Cancel the search and all of its effects. Shuffle the search deck. Draw the top card of the encounter deck. So this breaks No Stone Unturned level 5.
Yeah.
Combo
Yeah.
breaker.
Yeah. Yeah. So you want to get this out first. So the first No Stone Unturned, level 5, you find this, and then you can play your second one. There you go.
And so are these also scaled up based on the number of cards in the deck?
I don't think so.
So that's a very good reason to run a fat deck.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder if
'Cause,
they
like, my-
had like 3 during testing and were like, this is just too rough.
Because my knee-jerk reaction from playing competitive games is I want the smallest deck size possible.
Right.
But when you add in extra occult evidences and it waters down your shocking discovery, and she has a way to get more cards out of that deck.
Lots of filtering.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just how much time do you want to spend filtering your deck? And
Scott, you
Not
can
playing.
dig 9 and pull 2 with Rook. Ugh.
yeah, fair enough.
I'm very,
Okay.
very interested to try. I'm continue to be impressed with the investigator design in the game. That there's still like, you would think there's only so many mechanics you can get around to. So eventually they're going to start to feel samey. But yeah, this is really cool.
This article also covers Tony Morgan, but he was covered in an FFG live stream,
Which we have
a
already
deck
talked
building,
about.
yeah, with Matt and stuff. So, yeah, Mandy looks like so much fun. Mm-hmm. And the fact that you can offer that ability to other investigators, like if you're not doing any searching this turn, like if you're just straight up cluing and moving or something like that, and someone just happens to be around you and has some other search effect, the fact that you can let someone else use that ability is just awesome.
All right. So moving on from there, Scott, do we have any rules PSAs that you wanted to get around to?
No, but I will mention that one of our listeners, Sergeant Mook on the Discord, he's going to start kind of tabulating or just like grabbing some of all these rules questions that people discuss and then the answers to them, like really complicated ones. And he's going to start like putting them into a blog, I think he was mentioning, or he's going to bring them all together. So it'll be a really good resource for people who are rules lawyers. I mean, some people will be like, nah, but yeah.
Yo.
Yeah. One last thing before the main topic, though. Delarp guy wanted me to mention Iron Man 2019 signups for Arkham Knights. Go to the in the was it playing IRL category? The Arkham Knights. There is a sign up sheet there. If you have a team of 4, awesome, put it in there because we're going to have tables reserved for us at Arkham Knights.
It's in the pinned
thanks.
messages of the Arkham Knights channel in Discord.
Yes. FFG is giving us assigned tables, which is awesome this year. And if you don't have a team, like if you're just 2 people or even 1 person, sign up and we'll help you find other singles or another couple players or whatever so you can make a team and you can enjoy the horrible and arduous task that is Iron Man with us.
Oh, yeah. The
It's gonna be a day.
the planning for Arkham Knights has begun in earnest a long time ago. We've got some fun stuff planned. Oh, I'm so excited for Iron Man this year.
And Josh also mentions we have custom playmats. We ordered a certain amount, so if you want in, message Delarp guy on the server.
Or any of us. We can direct you as well.
Yes, but he's kind of managing the playmats ish.
Right.
Like he's coordinating who gets playmats and stuff. So yeah. So if you
Delarp.
want an Iron Man playmat, yeah, Delarp guy. Just go to the Arkham Knights channel. You'll see him posting, and you'll know who we're talking about.
I suppose we should probably do a sign-up sheet for how low can you go, huh?
Yeah. Yeah,
Probably be
we
a
probably
good
should
idea.
organize that slightly.
I'll get that
Well,
set up before our next
okay.
I
episode.
suppose people generally like to play in teams, don't they?
Well, it'll be easier to Never mind. We'll cover it in our next episode. Also, just so you guys know, I went in and filled in our investigator picks on our team on that sign-up sheet for Iron Man. So, got you covered.
Ooh. Nice.
Thank you kindly. All right.
Josh was kind enough to sign us up, so we didn't have to sign up.
I had this moment of panic where I was like, shit, there's going to be someone signed in. So it's going to be Sean, Ian, Scott, and, like, Jim or something. And I'll be like, who the hell is Jim?
Sorry, Nick, you're off the show. Jim signed up.
He's the Yoko Ono of Mythos Busters.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's hop into our main topic for the night. So, spoiler alert for the greater good and Union and Disillusion. We're about to hop straight into all of our thoughts on those scenarios. So let's start with For the Greater Good. Player cards.
Indeed. Mm-hmm.
This was the payoff of the dual class pack. How did you guys? Any ones in particular you'd call out?
The Guardian 45 Thompson. It shoots money, which is great. Guardian economy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna shoot bullets and they fall into my pocket as money.
Like, assuming you end up firing all the rounds of this, your net cost was 1. Like,
Yeah.
whew.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And then if you have this in Mark and you use what's that? The lady throwing the gun or swinging the
Act of desperation.
There we go. That's
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you pay 6, you get 5 back, and then you chuck this and get 6 more back. So you can play your next
dirty.
Thompson. Oh, it's
Dirty.
You smelt the casings into a new Thompson.
yeah. Oh, so good.
So, both Scrolls of Secrets remained somewhat disappointing, I feel.
Yeah, they're okay.
Yeah.
I haven't
unfortunately.
used upgraded Scroll of Secrets. I haven't used upgraded Tennessee Sour Mash. And I haven't used upgraded Grizzly Totem, but I think the Grizzly Totems are actually decent. But the Blades and the Thompsons I've used, and I love them both.
Sour Mash is one that I keep looking at it and keep acknowledging that I would enjoy it, but then I buy something else.
Yeah, yeah.
Unfortunate. Yeah.
So, Enchanted Blade, I think, came out crazy well. This is probably just me, but I tend to find that I'm using the Mystic one more often than the Guardian one, even proportionally. Just because it's kind of nice to have just that +2 even when you run out of charges. Like, that matters for a lot of the investigators who can take this.
Yeah.
Well, and you can spend multiple charges with the Mystic one. The Guardian one, you can spend a charge, and that just ups your damage. But Guardians also have more combat buffs, so...
And then
the thing I like about the Guardian one, though, is you can spend the charge after you successfully attack.
Yes.
Which is nice.
Oh, yeah.
And the nice thing about the Guardian one is that most of the people who can take this don't care that it takes up the Arcane slot, where the Mystic one, generally you're sacrificing something.
Mm-hmm. And the Guardian one also draws a card and heals a horror.
Yes.
This has been Spot the Differences on the Card with Mythos Busters. But yeah, I agree. The Grizzly Totems, I think, are good. I think the Seeker one's better.
I forget what they do. What are these guys do?
Basically, the difference is... The Seeker one is if the test is successful, that investigator draws a card.
Oh, yeah.
And the Grizzly Totem, or the Survivor one, is if it fails, they get to return that card.
Yeah.
I ran this in my standalone Silas deck for about half a game before I realized, like, this is so redundant. He doesn't need this at all. Not even a little.
Yeah.
Your Silas deck has 2 Grizzly Totems, 2 try agains. Like, all the cards coming back.
And then,
Uh,
and then the Council's Coffer.
Yeah.
Which...
This
neat
version
idea.
is better than the test one,
Agree.
Yes.
but only marginally so.
So this was the player card designed, for anyone who might not be aware, even though it says it right on the card. It's designed by the player card council that they raffle for at Arkham Knights. And yeah, this is way better than what we got at that point. But it's tough,
It's
right?
still an investment.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because the idea behind it's really cool because the benefit is splashy and amazing. But it's just really tough to,
I feel like in single player, this might actually be okay because you have to test it once, and then you can just go find any like agency backup and just put it into play. Seems okay. Also, probably really fun in standalone, just because everyone has like lots of toys, right? Like, okay, you get your lightning gun, you get agency backup, you get golden pocket watch, whatever, right? Like, it's just, yeah.
Okay.
But
Like
I think
standalone
it's kinda
2-player.
It's still, it's the fact, like, if you're doing standalone, I don't think you play this unless you know the scenario really well. Like, I would not bring this to, like, Gen Con or anything like that, because the thought of like, blowing 8 actions to do this...
It's coming, though, guys. It's coming. You
spare.
wait. It's coming. It'll be here, I promise. It's coming.
Right? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. If you have Leo DeLuca, it's 2 turns worth.
Right, yeah.
It's fun.
It is very fun.
Oh, no, totally.
Fun, whether it's good or not, well, that's up in the air, I think. But
All right.
decent pack, though, for cards, I would say.
Overall, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I really liked how the dual class cards ended up working out. I don't think any of them are really ubiquitous. I think Enchanted Blade has a fair few homes, but it's not like broken in any way.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on to the scenario. For the greater good, I have to say, and I think Ian agrees with me, at least based on his comments before we started recording, this has to be one of my favorite scenarios. It's probably my favorite in this campaign, and it's up there for scenarios in the game. How do you guys feel?
I would agree.
It is my favorite of this campaign.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, I haven't played the last 2 yet, but this one is... It's in the running. And I think it's definitely in top 5 for the game. Don't know if it's hit top 3 or not, but it's up there.
Yeah.
This is the cultist scenario that I never knew I wanted so badly. Because you crack that core box and you play through a few campaigns and you kind of see like, oh, okay, doom and distraction are what cultists are doing. And we've only had so many ways of kind of playing that game, and it's usually just kind of a sub game that you're playing among other objectives. But to make that kind of the central mechanic of, hey, cultists are spawning with doom, and you've just got to go deal with them. I suppose I'm speaking more from the aspect of if you're a member of the lodge, where you're actually not necessarily going and beating up on every cultist that you see. But the parlay actions help you do things. I don't know. It was just a very, very cool expansion on the core cultist mechanic, I thought.
I really like to, like you mentioned, whether you're with the lodge or not, this scenario plays very differently.
Yeah.
Depending on if you're with the lodge or, like, it's almost like 2 scenarios in one, and you pick at the beginning, well, I mean earlier on, but if you're doing standalone, let's say, you pick if you're with the lodge or without. It's 2 different scenarios completely.
When I played this one in campaign, I was against the lodge. And then when I went to Sean's place the night before we were leaving for Gen Con, we played this one standalone, and I was going to test out my Zoe Flamethrower Block Party deck. And I was like, let's do For the Greater Good, For the Greater Good, but I'm like, I already played it against the lodge, so let's play it with the lodge. And the whole time I was like, I really want to kill shit, but I can't. So
I'm for the lodge. Let me sacrifice you.
Yeah. Blood for the blood god.
Skulls for the skull throne.
Yep.
The key mechanic.
Very fun.
Super cool. Having those 4 different keys and having them different places in the map. My blind run in, I actually got really lucky, and a lot of the keys were like near or on where they should be to interact with whatever cards I needed. And I was against the lodge. And so I was able to just crack some people over the head, steal their key, move one location, and do the things you gotta do.
Is it possible, and I don't think it is, but is it possible for a key to spawn in a way that is impossible for, like, locked behind its own lock?
No.
Think
Oh,
no.
Okay.
I don't know, because the places that require you to have a specific key, the key doesn't get there until you reveal it, which means you already have to have had it.
Okay.
But in a similar vein, I had a real panicked moment the last time I played this, where I had everything revealed, and I didn't yet have all the keys. It was my solo Diana run, and I just hadn't seen a lot of enemies, so I hadn't gotten there. I can't remember which one it was, but there was one key that I was missing, and I had no specific way to get it. I just had to wait out the encounter deck to spit it out at me, and it was kind of an unfortunate moment. But yeah, I don't think it's possible to get locked out entirely.
Right.
Anyway,
I feel like I had a time when I got locked out, but it was like a location that I couldn't get into, and there was a key on it, a cultist in there or something. But maybe I missed.
There's the one enemy that spawns a key on him. Yeah.
oh, maybe I'm right. I
Anyways.
just haven't hit it yet.
Oh. Anyways, I think either way, that key mechanic was awesome.
Very fun.
Breath of fresh air. Or cold, dank air, I guess.
A chill breeze.
Yes.
All right. I'm trying to think what else. So I really liked the map structure of this, where there was kind of the starting area. It was kind of almost like House Always Wins, where you've got kind of the starting area, and then you kind of unlock the back corners. So the I'm trying to find the actual location I'm talking about here. So the Sanctum, and I think the basement is the other offshoot. The Catacombs.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Looking at the locations right here. Inner Sanctum, Lodge Catacombs, the Vault, the Library. Yeah.
Yeah, so I ended up really liking this. Kind of the flow of it was cool, and I guess we have to caveat every time, like it's a little bit different whether you're in the lodge or not. But I really liked the fact that the end of it, and I know we're skipping to the end here. I don't know if you guys had this moment when you were sleeving the cards up, but when you saw Summon Beast, did you not just go, "What the shit"?
Slightly.
It was shocking to see such a big enemy in the middle of the campaign. But I also kind of figured that it was one that would rarely make an appearance.
Have you guys ever actually tangled with him?
Nope.
Never.
How do you tangle with him? It's if 2A advances, right?
I think so. I actually don't know because I've never actually put him into play.
If Agenda 2A advances?
Yeah, Agenda 2A advances. That's how he hops out.
Yep.
I know from like looking at the cards, like when I set it aside or whatnot, I saw that and I was like, I don't want to deal with that. I need to go fast. And every single game of this scenario, I've been like Sonic the Hedgehog and just like I'm willing to take tests at like 1 or 2 up, maybe, just the chance of passing, so that I can just get stuff done. So.
Yeah, so I mean, do you think, obviously the approach changes from investigator to investigator, but on the whole, do you find yourself trying to parlay when you can, or are you using other means to control what the cultists are doing?
I try to parlay quite a bit.
Yeah, the
As
fact
best I
that
can.
Doom is left behind for defeating cultists, that's enough of a scary point to avoid that. Even with a fighty deck, like I still try and get around that whenever I can.
Also really liked the love that evadey characters got in that anytime you evaded a cultist, it might just be the first act where that's the thing, but anytime you evade a cultist, you remove the doom from it.
Yeah.
Oh no, that never mind. That flips, and then that pertains for the rest of the campaign or the rest of the scenario. But anyway, I don't know. I really, really like the differences in the two paths. I think it offers a really diverse experience depending on who you're playing and what approach you're taking. And I don't know. It's kind of one of those ones where I feel like there's always a way to the solution. It's just kind of puzzling out what that looks like.
Right.
Speaking of puzzles.
What's in the box?
So you can gain the puzzle box or defeat the beast. The resolutions on this one were actually pretty simple. I was looking through this and was like, that's pretty much it. You can either get defeated by the beast or defeat the beast or open the box. And you gain it for the next scenario.
Which, going in blind, I was like, I can exhaust the Spectral Watcher, deal 5 damage to the Spectral Watcher, or unlight a brazier. And I was like, I don't know what unlight the brazier does, but the other two abilities seem really strong, so I assume that unlighting braziers is really good. So I was like, yeah, sure, I'll take this.
You'd be right.
Yep.
And then the last thing is you move through the Inner Circle interlude, where you decide whether you're going to give the mementos to Carl or not, and potentially if you've checked all the boxes, you can be a part of the Inner Circle, which in the next two scenarios you figure out what that means. Have you guys had any campaigns that made it to the Inner Circle? I have yet to.
I had one. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying my one campaign is against the lodge right now, so.
Okay.
I played a solo Preston, and this is going to be embarrassing, on easy, only because I wanted to see different storylines that I hadn't already seen on a bunch of other ones. I'm just like the easy thing in the manual says, I want to experience the story. So I was like, I'll choose a lodge member, and I'm going to go super lodge. So, yeah. And I'll talk about what happened in the next scenario, but...
Hey, man, ain't nothing wrong with easy mode.
Nope.
Yep.
If you want to see the content, it's a good way to do it.
It's story mode, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted.
And I think the other cool thing about the interlude is that you actually get to ask 3 questions about the beast, or about the creature, or... Yeah, the creature. My question is, did anyone respect only asking and reading 3, or do people read ahead?
Nope.
I mean, I read the 3, and then after I packed up the scenario, I read the rest of them. So
there you go.
But I love the last one. If the investigators survive the Watcher's embrace, you can ask him, "Why are you looking at me like that?" And then he lies to you. It's fun.
Yeah, that's cool.
I kind of looked them over. I'm like, does anything have a move to this Inner Circle or resolution? I was like, no. Okay, it's all story. I just read it all. So
cool.
But I like the idea of it. If that's your blind run and you're super story oriented, that's a cool choose your own adventure kind of thing.
Well, and it's great for when you're if you're introducing the game to a group of players who maybe don't play all the time, or that sort of thing. So then you're the one reading this to them. And you can kind of sequester that information and give them the immersive experience. It gives you kind of a cool little dungeon master sort of role for a moment.
Yeah, you can GM it, sort of. Network 57, you stuck to the 3. Good on you. Boy Scout honor.
Will 6 over there.
Yep. Hey there, Diana.
On a rogue, even. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I know I just keep raving, but this one, it's one of those scenarios where the mechanics just so well reflect what's going on. You just get the feeling, this is exactly what you want it to feel like when you'd say, hey, you're infiltrating the headquarters of a dangerous cult, whether by disguise or actual skullduggery. Skullduggery? Duggery? Okay. But either way, I think it simulates it very well. It feels like cool infiltration, and just a really fun scenario.
Yeah, totally.
And is it really infiltrating if you're actually, because you,
I suppose,
well,
actually joining?
It could either be infiltrating, or it could be you're really helping them. Because can't you be both on the side of the lodge or on the side of the lodge but lying about it. Like, isn't that an option too?
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's cool.
So even
You
more
can go
angles.
full lodge. Yeah.
All right, so then let's move it on to Union and Disillusion. So, basic premise here is you get to the Unvisited Isle, and you got to make a choice. Are we siding with the Lodge or the Coven? And
Are we talking about the player cards?
oh yeah, let's do that first. My bad. I need to look at my show notes. That would be helpful. All right, any standouts from the player cards?
I like the idea of Warning Shot. I haven't actually used it yet.
I want more cards like Warning Shot.
Yeah.
Because with the new level 232 Colts, like if we just get a cool suite of cards that lets you spend extra ammo for cool things, like nothing would excite me more than building like a gunslinging Mark deck.
Well, isn't that every Mark deck? But just
yes, but this one would have flair.
I understand what you mean.
I think the only card from this set that I've used is Decoy.
I really like Decoy. I agree. Like, I think that's probably the strongest card out of this one. I actually enjoy Investments, but I'm not sure where I sit with it yet.
Sure.
It's a slow burn.
It is, and I don't know where the tipping point of benefit is, and if that tipping point of benefit is worth the slow burn. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Like this, if you get this on like turn 10, you're like, cool, I have an intellect icon. But if you see this in your opening hand, it's not bad.
Is this something and this is crazy, so probably not, but is this something you adaptable in after you realize you have paranoia as one of your weaknesses?
Ooh. Yes.
I've heard crazier things.
I think that is... Well, I mean, I guess it depends the type of deck you're playing.
Sure.
But if you're playing like a mid-range to a big money rogue, absolutely.
Well,
so if you're playing like a Dark
every
Horse
deck
build,
wants... Yeah, but I mean, every deck wants cash for the most part. You know what I mean? And this isn't cash until you need it, you know?
Yeah.
So... Even in a Dark Horse, I think this would be great, because then you can let it build up as supplies, turn it into cash for one action, you know what I mean, and then play what you need to play, and then you're back down to 0.
Yeah. Network 57 asks, is moving gaining? I don't think it is. As far as Preston, do investments go on family inheritance?
Ooh.
Oh,
It says
interesting.
move.
I would say, oh god, I don't know,
Okay,
because they
so-
move as supplies.
I don't know if this game is going to be the same, but I can confirm that in Lord of the Rings, gaining was the blanket term for any time a resource pool increased. And then under the blanket of gaining was collecting and moving. So I don't know how they're going to rule it, but that's how they ruled it in Lord of the Rings. So just there's that.
Well,
I'm glad we all went on that journey together. I really like Knowledge is Power. I like a lot.
yeah. It's good filtering. If you're playing like Spellslinger Daisy.
It's good
Well, and it's good to get mileage, like more mileage out of those.
It's a free charge
cards.
on a spell.
Exactly.
Guys, you know what I just realized, and maybe you all did earlier, and should have warned me about it, but you can Knowledge is Power Divermes Mysteries, and you don't have to put the doom on it. Like you don't have to pay any of the costs. That's pretty okay.
I guess so. Also,
so
Divermes is in this pack.
Yeah, so then when you've got that tome in play, then Knowledge is Power basically becomes a copy of an event or in a spell specifically from your discard pile or from your hand. I don't know. It's a really cool card. I like it. I think there are lots of situations where so for instance, level 0 shortcut, just universally great card, right? 0 cost, fast, action as long as that action is move.
Mm-hmm.
Similar story. 0 cost, fast, action as long as it's on a spell or a tome. So, I think it's really good.
Yep.
I'm overstating this argument, aren't I?
I wasn't against it necessarily. I just was. My brain was trying to work out like if you have both Knowledge's Power and Vermees in your hand, so you Knowledge's Power from your hand to Vermees from your hand to spell from your discard pile.
Oh yes,
like I was working out that level of it.
Speak janky to me.
How do you guys feel about Esoteric Atlas?
Standalone. You have to know the map you're up against, otherwise it's terrible.
Would you like
Daisy though? This is 4 shortcuts. Kind of.
Well,
because it's a tome, right?
Yeah.
I think it's terrible in solo because far less often will you be trying to move to a revealed location. It happens.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, it depends on the map, yeah. Unless there's backtracking.
I think it's way better
thinking about this. I was just thinking about this, and it's like, every time I look at it, I'm like, why wouldn't I just do Pathfinder? But this lets you do it even if you're engaged, I guess? But then you're taking hits. I don't know.
Yep.
Yeah. Fortune or Fate, or as Network calls it, the Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. It's basically Marie's card, but slightly weaker. But anyone with Survivor access can play it.
It's pretty good.
Canceling that Doom, yeah.
And so can Mateo, because it's blessed.
Mm-hmm. Max 1 per game, so you're ever probably only going to put 1 in your deck, I would hope. Yeah. I mean, you could put 2, and then you only have to, like, buy them back every second scenario, but...
when you put it that way.
This, if you're facing Ancient Evils, is basically the reverse of the Golden Pocket Watch, right? Kind of.
Sure.
Like, it buys everyone a round of turns. Hopefully. So.
I think it's good. I mean, I think 2 costs...
Yeah.
People will put Ward of Protection in their deck specifically for Ancient Evils, right? So, same.
Yep. And this basically does what Ward of Protection does to Ancient Evils.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And it stops, like, Doom from going on bosses that might collect Doom, or, like, big monsters, right? Like, there's so many smaller little niche cases, but yeah.
But your stupid little mystic friend is still going to be putting Doom on their own stuff.
Hey guys, at least Prophesy has more icons.
With this extra wild icon, there's nothing we can't do.
God, that one's the best.
Oh.
Okay. And quick shout out to Guiding Spirit. I haven't played with it yet. I have no idea how good it is, but I just love that it exists. Thank you for being you, Guiding Spirit.
I hear it's really good in Ashcan. That's what I've heard.
I could see that.
Oh, sure.
I could see that.
Because now Duke's investigating at 5. So.
All right.
Ghost Duke.
Adventures of Ghost Dog.
Yeah.
So now, on to
boy.
Union and Disillusion.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized that the show notes here got really wonky with old stuff and new stuff, so let's all use our brains before we read from them.
Oh, wow, yeah.
So you head out to the Unvisited Isle, you side with either the Lodge or the Coven, and I love you get the warning here, this is the point of no return, you don't get to change your mind later.
Yeah.
That pretty much just determines the enemies that you're going to be fighting and your overall goal throughout the scenario. So it's got... How'd you guys feel about the whole brazier circle lighting, unlighting mechanic?
I played the scenario once. I barely remember it because I got the puzzle box out turn 1, and it was largely not an issue.
Well, you can only do the puzzle box once per game, right?
Then I need to redo this scenario.
Yeah, I'm sure you're not the only one to make that mistake.
Easy.
So for those of us who have not cheated, I found in solo, the time crunch on this scenario is real. Holy moly. Mm-hmm. There is so much to do and so many tests to take and they're not easy tests, despite the fact that like there's combinations of skills, right? So like your cards are worth more, kind of, on these skill checks.
But still, for one investigator to hit all the aspects at the level you need to hit, oh man, those circle tests are hard in low player counts.
And I was playing, my blind run was solo Diana, and I was just not having luck getting her willpower up. So my tests were terrible. Like I was looking at all these tests, I'm like, holy moly, like I can't. I'm 3 below to start, or 4 below on this test. That game went poorly. I found a 3 or 4 player, it was way more. I don't know if I want to say fun, because it was fun both ways, but 3 player I felt more supported. And I'm like, okay, this character has to go over there, this character goes over there, this guy's getting clues to help this person. Like it flowed a lot better as a scenario in multiplayer.
Agree.
Yeah.
But overall, I thought it was pretty cool. I'm just trying to look at some of the more notable locations here. Oh, no, okay. I know what I wanted to talk about. Because I was right. I was right, everyone. I know I mentioned a few episodes ago that I was choosing my prologue investigator with the idea that they would come back as allies, and here they are. So, paying off the prologue investigators was cool. You do have to kind of complete specific circumstances in order for them to come back. Basically, what you have to have disappeared into the mist during the prologue, which means you kind of more or less had to have made it to the end before you died. But man, they are good allies.
Yeah. Which one's your favorite?
It's probably Jerome.
Yeah.
It's either
universal cancellation and intellect buff.
It's either Jerome or Gabriella.
Really good though too.
Yeah. Can we all agree that Valentino's probably the worst?
As an ally,
no, he's the one I actually got.
Penny is kind of mediocre to me.
Yeah, like, okay, so here's my thing about Valentino. He, like, unless you're specifically running, I don't know, Rita, he gives you an agility boost, which isn't bad per se, but it's one of those defensive stats. You know, it's not the offensive stats. And then you can pay 2 resources to reduce the difficulty by 1, which I feel is, like, terrible economy.
Yeah, he's definitely the most, like, you need a deck for him, you know?
Funnily enough, I still hold that he's one of the better investigators to play during the prologue.
Unfortunately, yes.
Funnily.
Yeah. I do, Jerome, though, head and shoulders above the rest.
Yeah, he's quite good.
Yeah.
And then I also love how if you got the enemy versions, each of the enemies kind of has an ability reminiscent of their hero version too. So, I don't know, I thought that was cool. Like, Valentino makes you lose resources, and Jerome makes you discard cards from your hand.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Really cool to see that kind of come back.
Yes.
I was waiting for the payoff of the prologue. And this was definitely a payoff that I really enjoyed.
I also really like the I want to say but we got Whippoorwills back, first of all, is a thing.
Yay.
And then we got
birds.
Whippoorwills metal cousins that have similar effects but on the opposite side of things. So, oh man. The birds in this one are intense.
Yeah. This one, the Spectral Raven reminds me of, oh my goodness, it's in Carcosa, in the Unspeakable Oath, the psychotic lady who you either take damage or horror when she engages you, or she gets +2/+2.
Young psychopath.
Yeah. Feels very similar to that. One thing I would say about the Whippoorwills too is in this scenario specifically, because you're dealing with the circle, like the brazier stuff, they hit you for -2.
Yeah, you
essentially.
can't you can't mess with them.
Yeah,
You just
they are
gotta kill
even
them.
worse.
Mano a mano.
Yeah.
Agnes Baker.
Punching birds.
Yep. Coup de grace.
End your turn.
Yeah. Lantern.
Small favor.
Yeah.
This has been
Still
your
a favor.
This has been your weekly edition of our favorite Whippoorwill tech.
Yeah.
Let us
still
know what
my
we missed.
still my favorite designed enemy of the entire game. I just think it's just
The
perfect.
whippoorwill?
Yep, the aloof, the hunter, and the what it does to you just sitting there. Like it's just caca, caca, or whatever the sound of a whippoorwill makes.
I think you nailed it.
Well, I appreciate the design of any enemy that threatens you without beating your head in. Like, both of these birds fall in that category because, at this point in the game, a 2-fight, 2-health, 2-evade enemy is a chump. But in order for him to be that, you gotta take a haunted ability on the chin. So I like effects like that. So yeah, I agree, Scott. The whippoorwills still remain to me a very I hate them. They must die always. With their very cool design.
I hate them, and that is why I love them.
All right, so as far as resolutions go,
Nothing really interesting. There's nothing that happens in these resolutions that hasn't happened ever in the game before.
go on.
So you can win the campaign in scenario 6. So Iron Man's going to be super easy.
Is it bad to admit that this is the first time I've realized that because I've barely gone through the resolutions on this one?
I've heard you can end it. I didn't hear you could win it.
Yeah. Resolution 2.
2, yeah.
If you are loyal to the Lodge, investigators who are truly loyal to the Lodge win the campaign. And actually, the Silver Twilight Lodge wins the campaign.
Yeah, the Lodge wins, not the players.
But
then
investigators who are truly,
Yep. You win by default.
So that must be if you're truly in with the Lodge and make it into the Inner Sanctum, I assume?
Yeah, you got to be full inner circle, everything like that.
Okay.
Yeah. And you have to light all the braziers? No. Yeah. You have to light them all.
Yes, you have to light them.
Yeah.
God, I love that's an option.
Yeah. And you have to hit that 20 difficulty test.
Oh, God.
Where you all your skills. But I mean, that's when if you're going for this, right, you ditch your hand.
You commit everything, yeah.
Any resource boost you have, and like every icon in your hand is a boost because you're testing all 4. And whippoorwills hit you for -4, but we already covered that.
God, fucking whippoorwills.
Yes.
They are just the worst.
Oh.
Okay, but for the normal people, the resolutions, you either get Union or Disillusion, right? And then, I'm trying to remember what else. Oh god, that's right. Man, I need to have more campaigns. I've missed a lot of this.
There's a lot going on in the resolutions for this one.
So it's depending on who you side with, depends on, so when their respective figurehead comes to power, whether you're cool with it. Yeah. Yeah.
You have resolution 5 where you have to like check which column, like there's 3 things on either side and which has more correct statements on the left or the right, changes the resolutions. There's 8 resolutions in this scenario. And it's one thing that I'm not minding in TCU, but I just have to laugh compared to, let's say, Dunwich, where like, 3 resolutions. Oh my goodness, this is getting complicated. Yeah. And then now we're like, okay, go to resolution 3. Yep. Okay, resolution 5. Yep. Resolution 18. Are you kidding me? Like, it's just...
What is this, the dream sequence in Carcosa? Come on now.
Yeah. But I mean, this story is so interwoven. Like, there's so many different paths you can take. I'm absolutely loving these resolutions. And this scenario, when I went with my Preston deck to find the story, this is what I was mentioning before, I went full Lodge. And when I read that, I was like, are you kidding me? so I don't get to play the last two, but I also won. Like, I was just
Yay!
yay question mark. But this is at the point where the packs were only out up to Union and Disillusion.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh, okay, well, this is one more campaign I don't have to play when the next pack comes out.
So, I mean, you say this poses a question for Iron Man. Does it, though? Like, we're not taking that way out, are we?
I
would say no.
Yeah, I think the spirit of Iron Man we play to the bitter end.
Mm-hmm.
But I will not blame teams who do.
I will say this: if we do all the way through turn back time this year, then we can take the short road next year.
Wait, are we trying for turn back time this year?
We're not, but if you
Okay.
want to be done at scenario 6 next year, then we have to go for turn back time.
Maybe. No,
And I have PTSD for trying for turn back time with Scott on TNA.
I've never even went for it yet. I've never done it.
yeah.
It's
Anyways, back to Union Disillusion.
yes. So overall, the scenario was fine. I thought it had some really cool elements. I think I like the scenarios both on either side of it more, though.
I like how it really seems like in this scenario more than others, very much so, that the witches and the lodge actually clash in the story. Like, we all showed up here. Hey, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? And then, and you're kind of caught in the middle of it.
Until you're not.
Until you're not.
Until you're forced to pick a side.
Yeah. But I mean, you're there, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I liked a lot of the story stuff.
Yes, Casey, it's exactly like West Side Story. And boy, can those witches dance and snap their fingers at the same time.
Yep.
I do kind of like, and I suppose we had a similar thread in the Forgotten Age where you're kind of delving into the mythos, but what's going on is just so much bigger than you. It's like Cornerstone Lovecrafty, but I kind of like that that's a recurring theme for our campaigns.
I love and I don't know how you get here, but Resolution 6, recorded Carl Sanford possesses the secrets of the universe. It's just foreboding. It's just, yeah.
Now, I think the scenario did a really good job of kind of wrapping up the story. It was kind of a cool action beat where all of a sudden a fight breaks out in the woods, culminating in the capturing of the monster of the campaign, or maybe not the capture. But I also think it did a really cool job of paying off the two opposing antagonists here with Annette and Carl. Just from a story standpoint, like, I don't think I've ever been this invested in a villain thus far.
Yeah. I don't know. The King in Yellow was kind of cool. I really liked him.
Yeah,
By the way, I'm putting on
stranger-
his play.
Yeah, but the stranger was an idea. He wasn't a character. You didn't care about him.
I mean, I cared about finding him.
But I know what you're saying.
But
Sean.
yeah, you're right. He didn't have a personality.
He didn't have a name, right? He didn't have a story. You were trying to find a story. Whereas, like, I feel like Annette and Carl, like, you get a lot of their story, and you can kind of flip flop up to this point about them.
Matt drops into chat to go, #Sanford did nothing wrong. All right. Well, any final thoughts on the kind of mid-season push of Circle Undone?
I really enjoyed, like you said, like this mid-campaign push. Like, the story beats, how it's ramping up, the fact that you can end it here, and if you don't end it here, like, shit's getting real. Like, I just felt, as I finished this one, I was more excited for the next pack than I've been for the next pack in a very long time for the story. Like, I was like, I need to know what happens next. Like, if this was a novel, I'd be turning the page and keeping on reading.
Agree. I think the narrative element of this game is really singing in this campaign, more so than it has in any other one. Like we were just mentioning, the characters involved are more deep. It just feels so Arkham Horror itself. Like, we've had a couple gallivanting, adventuring across the world type jaunts in our other campaigns, but this one's so like, yeah, you're just in Arkham. This one really feels like, I don't know, Arkham. I'll say it a fourth time and see if it finally hits.
Feels like Arkham.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Arkham? I've realized I need to play this one again. Both
Because
for
you
my
cheated the first time?
both for my rampant cheating, and also because it was just like a blur. Probably because of my rampant cheating.
Probably. I mean, yes, you're gonna want to put an old supply token on that box to remind yourself this time.
Yep. I will fully admit that, like, going into this campaign, at first I was like, man, this is a lot of story text. Like, significantly more than we've had in any campaign, right? Like, the prologue itself is almost story text. But it is paying off, and I should have trusted Matt, because at first I was like, oh man, like, this is a lot. I kind of started, like, breezing over, and then I got to about, I think I got to the greater good, and I'm like, I need to go back and read everything again, because this is picking up. And then I think that's what made Union and Disillusion so great for me, is because I'd read it almost novel-like and played Greater Good and then right into Union and Disillusion. Like, it was just, man, the story is just streaming along, and I love it. So this might replace Carcosa for me.
I'm early yet, but it's still in the running.
It's neck and neck. And Carcosa was an absolute home run for me. So
the campaign I did with Justin, the ending to that was so haunting and wonderful at the same time. Which I suppose we'll cover on the next episode that we do this. So let's not get too deep in the weeds there.
Yep.
Oh, I gotta play. I just need to start this campaign over. Oh my god.
Yeah. Play on easy, man.
I just don't want.
Just start a new one.
Do that prologue.
Just start a new one.
I do, but I don't want to do the prologue again, because I played the prologue like 5 times.
Just play on easy. Or take your prologue from one of the other campaigns.
Good idea.
Or
That's actually a really good idea.
Pick your result and roll a d8 and move on.
Wait, am I picking or am I rolling?
I don't know. That's your call. I mean, picking the result as in, like, the resolution you got, not the number of evidence that was left behind.
Oh, I see.
This is one campaign I will seriously recommend, and Network's kind of talking about this in chat too. Like, and I've done it. Play on easy. Like, this campaign has so much story and so many branching paths. If you just need to experience it as a game and you want story mode, play on easy. It is fun. So I'll just throw it out there.
You know what? I may do that.
Yeah. Pick a lodge member. I like having a lodge member.
I think that's the
story-wise.
canon story, right? It's either
Yeah.
Preston or Diana or both.
Oh, I thought you meant to be part of the lodge. I'm like, really? You think that's the canon story? But oh no, I get you. I get you.
Yeah. A lodge investigator.
All right. Excellent. Well, let's move on to Tentacle Time, I suppose. Nick, you know what, Scott? Let's have you go first, because I think Nick and I are probably going to go somewhat together.
Oh, good. Then I can mute my microphone and
Put
go
my
say
note
goodnight to my
cards
kid
away.
and stuff like that. Okay. Yep.
What has been grabbing you lately?
Well, two things. I've pretty much completed Breath of the Wild for myself. Finally, I got all the shrines. I'm getting all the high noxes and the rock guys and the sand snakes. I'm doing all the stuff that's fun to get.
All the
I'm not
bosses.
going to do the Korok.
All the optional bosses.
I'm not doing the Korok seeds. That is just never. There's 800 or 900 of them.
Yes.
Yeah, hard pass. Yeah. Doing that, and then a lot of times at work, I have some free time, and there's a game I've been playing on my phone, and it's super fun. It's a mobile game, but it's called Snipers versus Thieves, and it's an online game. Yep, and so you're either the sniper or you're a thief, and the thieves have to run through the map, but you're not actually like steering them like you would like with a joystick or whatever. when you hide behind like a car or a building, you have 3 or 4 green arrows you can tap, and you move to the next thing, and you have power-ups, like you have invisibility for 5 seconds or something else. And so it's kind of predictable in your movement. The sniper, you have free range, like you just move, but it has the best like gun control I've had in a mobile game ever. And I hate like aiming in mobile games. Mm-hmm. This one's fantastic. It's super fun. You're playing against other people live. There is a bit of pay to win, but it's very small. Like you can pay to advance a bit or get like something like that. I don't know. I paid $2.99 for like a starter pack, intro pack or whatever. That's all I've spent. Totally worth it. Tried out. It's super fun. Snipers versus thieves.
Huh. Wow. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
It's rare that a mobile game catches my attention nowadays. Is that about to change?
It might. Like mobile games, I go through them really quick. Like I play it for an hour. I'm like, no, not worth my time. Delete. Download the next one.
Sure.
This one I've been playing for a couple weeks, and look forward to playing. I might play around while you guys talk about your gaming weekend. I'm just kidding. I won't do that.
Nick, you and I had a weekend full of games. What would you like to talk about? What did we play?
We played, to list everything off, we played D&D.
Mm-hmm.
We played
a lot of D&D.
One game of Arkham Horror. One pseudo game of Deranged. And one game of Alien.
Ooh, God, Alien. Ooh.
And I think Alien was the game of the weekend.
Yes, it was.
Because D&D ended on kind of a sour note.
Well, I mean, D&D was just D&D. It just, it was good, but Alien was...
It was, but the mood of the room was notably different than other times when we'd finished D&D. So,
sure.
And Deranged was, I had high hopes and then realized halfway through that the demoer had taught us differently than the rulebook, which was a problem. And Arkham was Arkham. I mean, we know what to expect. It's fun. But yeah, Alien was the surprise. It was the shocker. That was super fun. I skipped some of the rules.
So back up. Let's be a little bit more specific when we're talking about Alien.
Oh, the Alien RPG that is releasing in December. And I have the cinematic starter kit that you got, that everyone who pre-ordered it got. Pre-orders are closed now. They closed last week or 2 weeks ago. So if you pre-order the game, you got the cinematic starter kit, which is rules to run the game, 5 pre-gen characters, and a scenario that takes, it says between 3 to 5 hours. I think ours was about 5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
The rules are great. I love the system. The layout of the book is a little weird, and the fact that it's digital only meant that I was scrolling through my phone a lot, which was part of the reason why I skipped not a bunch, but a significant part of the rules. We were accumulating way too much stress. We should have hit a breaking point at some point for some of those characters.
I was wondering about that.
But I was like, man, let's just run with it. People are dying anyway. Who cares? You know what I mean?
Said the GM.
Right. Well, I mean, in that game, but it really calling it a cinematic starter kit, really I think that really fits because it did feel like an Alien movie, at least from me watching everything unfold.
Oh, 100%.
It really had that. It had a cinematic feel to it. Combat really didn't slow down at all. The action, everything just kept moving when we did hit combat, and then those moments between combat were both tense because you didn't know where the enemy was, and also tense because you were learning as the game went on that the players weren't all who they seemed to be.
Some have ulterior motives of various colors.
Exactly, yeah. No, it was really... I had a lot of fun running it. How did you... Where did it rate, as far as, is this something that you would play again, Sean, after having played it once?
Well, see, those are two very different questions. I would definitely play it again. I don't know if the experience is ever going to match the first time. Like you said, the kind of a long-form campaign could take on a different flavor, so I'd be interested to see how that rolls. But man, just playing it in a single setting, it really was like playing in an alien movie. Like it felt like an RPG with I guess a hidden trader mechanic, kind of, although no one was really just like a straight up trader until the end. But like, you know, we had one crew member who just kept sneaking off to the medical bay to get stimulants because he was a junkie. And it took the rest of the characters a while to actually figure out that he was doing this.
It happened, like, there were two separate situations that came up that were both, like, high-tension, high-risk situations, and his character's just gone. Mm-hmm. And I was like, of course, like, both of those times that happen are when he chooses to step away. Like, that was perfect. It was so good.
And he took the gun with him the first time, bastard. God, right when we needed it. Like the first time the creature shows up. Yeah. God. Good thing I was captain. Oh, yeah. Took that gun from his ass so fast.
Yeah. Oh no, it was really fun. And like we had talked about after we played it, as far as like how this would run a campaign, and I said that what really excites me is the idea to do like a slow-moving corporate espionage, intrigue, you know, sort of like subterfuge sort of game that has an alien or a xenomorph show up every 2, maybe 3 sessions. But when I went back and read the rulebook on the way home, I saw that they said the core rulebook is going to come with campaign rules or campaign guides for frontier colonists, colonial marines, and space truckers. And I'm like, oh, damn it. Like the one thing that stuff. Exactly, yeah. So I'm sure there'll be a supplement eventually to do a more corporate-focused campaign. But regardless, I do think because campaign seems like such a, almost not really antithetical, but atypical for this type of story, it makes me all that more intrigued to do one, so...
Man, highlight of that evening was when Kip, our friend, he and I were supposed to be like characters, we're rivals, but as things played out, we ended up kind of being buddy-buddy through most of it. God, until I hit the point where I received information that very strongly led me to believe that he was like very much like sabotaging everything. And I just fucking pistol whipped him. And I was about to shoot him, but I was wrong. Like it was just that weird. It was like a philosophical dilemma. It was just going off of bad information and making big emotional decisions. And I don't know. I know there were no actual stakes, but it was still. That was one of the more memorable moments of that session. Like there were a couple of them, but that one was really because that shocked me. Like I had no idea you were gonna do that. And like you even called an NPC over too as like a smoke screen, and I was like, oh no, like he must have misunderstood the information I gave him, and then you quickly turn around and just smack Kip, and I'm like, oh my god, no, this is amazing! Oh, yeah. It was so good. Yeah. Anyway, one of the better RPG experiences I've had. That was a lot of fun.
Awesome.
So yeah. Deranged. I definitely want to try Deranged again after you're more familiar with the rules. I still, from what I see, I have my doubts as to how it scales in higher player counts, because it seems like the way the time mechanic works, that the game just moves faster proportionally for how many players you have. Like,
well, and the time track is bigger.
Oh, okay, so that's how it does it. All right, well, I'll give it another shot.
The time track for like, because there's a different time track for 3, 4, 5, and 6 players. Like, they each have their own time track.
Okay.
And so when you have more players, you have a larger track to get across. The difference is that night tends to move slower because deranged players don't advance the time. So that's, 2 or maybe 3 players that aren't advancing time when they play cards. So, but then daytime just shoots by because everybody advances.
Yep. And everyone's trying to get their shit done because they're not running from monsters as readily.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I'd definitely be willing and excited to try it again.
Agreed.
I mean, I think Kip was the only one who was actively having a bad time.
Well, and he did get like bent over a barrel with the way we did the first 2 rounds. And it wasn't until Evan looked at the rulebook and was like, wait a minute, the enemies don't go until this time. And I'm like, oh, whoops.
Whoopsie
And
doodle.
at that point, Kip was sitting with like 5 curses instead of the 2 that you normally start with. And yeah, it was bad.
Yeah, he had a little bit of justification for assault. God, and then what else? D&D was fun. Arkham was good. You need to finish that campaign.
Yeah, it's on my list.
Just like my kiss.
Yep, that's on my lips.
All right, well, that worked out about as well as I could have hoped. All right, so I think we'll end it around there. Thanks, everyone, for joining us on episode 66 of Mythos Busters. Check us out on all our places. Send us our weird quotes for next episode, and we will see you next time. Bye!
See ya.
Bye.